Hey, how's it going, everybody? In today's video, I want to talk about how our attention spans are shortening and some things we can do to fix it. I thought I was going to have a lot more time today, so sorry that the lighting is terrible. I got the light on in my truck and I got to go to work right away, but I got time to make this. So we got to talk about specifically Gen Z, because this is a big problem for our generation, is that our attention spans are continuing to short. It's really important that the average attention span of most people is shortening every year, especially Gen Z. Most people will say to themselves, oh, I have ADHD, oh, I have a short attention span. But the truth is that we do not have short attention spans. This is something that's been ingrained in us over multiple years of poor habits, and we're going to get into that. So why is our attention span shortening? Because we are a generation that has grown up on things such as TVs, smartphones, music on demand. Music on demand is an interesting one because for someone like myself, I like classical music, right? A lot of people would only have heard Beethoven's Fifth Symphony once in their entire life, if they're lucky. Whereas now of today, I can listen to Beethoven's Fifth Symphony again and again and again and again. It's a very different world we're living in. Obviously, I don't want to get banned here, but pornography, you guys know where I'm going with that. Obviously, a big one that's destroying attention spans, destroying our brains. Just endless entertainment. Another thing that's really interesting about, the world now, and again, this is specifically Gen Z, is that we are constantly avoiding even the slightest bit of boredom. Boredom is something that we have been able to avoid at all costs. With the era of the smartphone and social media, if we are bored for even a moment, we immediately take out our phone and start scrolling. We live in a world where we avoid boredom like the Black Plague, and we'll get into it later, but boredom is not something that needs to be avoided. The result is that we avoid the slightest bit of boredom. Year after year, we're ingraining short form content, infinite feeds, instant dopamine, right? This is terrible. The result, our brains expect constant stimulation, where even normal levels feel underwhelming, right? Where even regular life can now become underwhelming to us because we're so used to constant stimulation. All right, thanks for bearing with me, guys. I'm making this on the fly here and I'm a little tight for time. So why is this a problem? Why is short-term attention spans even a problem? Because it trains us to react instead of to think, to skim instead of to understand, and to jump between ideas without depth. It weakens our ability for long-form thinking, problem solving, reflection, original insight, and even relationships. This is why things like reading can feel exhausting, and we'll get into reading. Learning can feel frustrating, and sitting with a single thought feels uncomfortable. Your brain has raised its stimulation threshold so high that silence feels boring, stillness feels wrong, and focus feels like effort. And I think we can all kind of relate to that. A few things that I want to mention, even myself, is how even watching movies feels like an accomplishment. To watch a movie and to not check your phone. Most people, I even talked to guys at my own workplace, they can't even enjoy movies anymore because they are so ingrained with short form content, TikTok, the swiping, that sitting down and watching an hour and a half movie, a 90-minute runtime, it can't hold their stimulation long enough. They have to have it in the background and check their phones. This is a lot of people. I see it in my own family. I see my own family members watching movies, but the movie is in the background and then the phone is in front of them. It's crazy. It's crazy that's where we're at right now. So how to fix it? So we're going to go over now some things that you can do to fix your short-term attention span. These are some things that I wrote down and I think will help you guys. And I'll get into a lot of these too. A lot of these I'm using myself. Leaving your phone in another room when you don't need it. Now, these are two examples that I think are great, is when you're cooking a meal, and when you're working out at the gym. When you're cooking a meal, if you're in the kitchen, for me, I'm meal prepping, I don't need my phone with me. I don't need to be listening to music while I meal prep. I don't need to be checking or having a video on in the background. I can just focus on cooking my meal. I don't need the phone with me, right? Even if it's an hour, put that phone away for 1 hour. Same with working out at the gym. It's something that like is so ingrained with us. It's kind of a meme. It's like, oh, I forgot my headphones. Now the workout's going to be shit. I'm at the point now where I'm trying to really not listen to music at the gym and not use earbuds, because you don't need them. Just focus on your workout. And in another way, it also makes you kind of more sociable. I find too that when I don't have earbuds in my ears, I'm more sociable to those around me. Another thing is eating without music or YouTube. Like another habit that I've had, which was really bad, was whenever I eat a meal, I always have to have a YouTube video in front of me. And I mean, you know, so that gets to the point where just eating a meal becomes very boring by itself, right? But you have to ingrain these small habits in you, right, to start breaking your short-term attention span. Even driving without music playing, right? Just drive in silence. Listen to your thoughts. Get comfortable with that. You know, go for a walk, but don't listen to music. Go for a walk and actually, you know, listen to the sound of nature, you know, wind going through the trees, birds, the sounds of rocks underneath your feet, like, just those simple things. Replace scrolling with one small habit. So, for example, reading before bed. I know myself. I always have the TV on to fall asleep. When I'm tired and I want to go to bed, I always put on some background YouTube video to fall asleep to. Instead, what I'm going to start doing, and I think you guys will benefit from this too, is reading before bed. I mean, even if it's something short, even if it's a couple pages before bed, and sleeping will naturally tire out your brain and help you sleep. This is a huge one, honestly. Reading before bed is massive. Obviously, I put walking without headphones. We covered that already. Sitting quietly with your thoughts. I mean, when's the last time that you've just sat and didn't scroll and just sat with your thoughts in silence, right? And you just you just sat there. When's the last time you ever did that? And really just sat with yourself and just silence and no distractions. Draw some lines in the sand. I mean, I'm going to keep using myself as an example because these are things that'll help you guys too, but I have a lot of downtime at work, right? So I find myself scrolling short form content a lot at work. Like, we'll work and then we have our break, and then on break, I'm just scrolling shorts, scrolling feed, just total brain rot nonsense, right? So there's some things you can do. There's two things that I want to do particularly. The first one is movies. So if I do, movies is actually the second one, but we'll start with movies. No short form content, no shorts, no short form content, movies. If I want to watch something and I want to pass time, it's going to be long form content. That's a movie. Now, it might not seem like a huge step, but it's these small adjustments that are going to help. If I can sit down and watch, even at a time, half an hour of a movie at a time, that's gonna be better than swipe, right? And the other one is books, right? I'm gonna start bringing a book to work and reading pages out of my book, even if it's just paragraphs at a time, while we have our downtime, as opposed to scrolling social media, which is just rotting my brain. Because the thing that I think is why those two will complement each other well is you can read, do a lot of reading, right? Read, and then you can switch over to movies, like a movie, to kind of relax from your reading, and then you can come back to the book, and you can go back from the book to the movie, book to the movie, book to the movie, and these are both kind of long form concentration type tasks, right? The big thing is you're moving away from the short-term attention span type content. So there's some tips on how to fix it. What else do I have here? You're going to want to make your phone less attention seeking. So turning off unnecessary notifications. I know my phone is constantly going off with notifications that are totally irrelevant, right? So many apps, and whenever you download a new app now, it's constantly bugging you and annoying you with notifications that aren't even relevant. So customize your phone so that your notifications are relevant to your life and they're important. No nonsense notifications. Your phone should be used as a tool and not as an attention-seeking device, which it wants to be, or a slot machine. I have here. It should not be a slot machine, which it is, right? You guys get it. Okay, another part I want to talk about here is boredom. And boredom is not the enemy, guys. A lot of people, especially Gen Z, you know, we despise boredom. We avoid boredom like the Black Plague. Boredom is a normal emotion, and boredom, it can actually be very good, especially for young men. Boredom trains curiosity, creativity, patience. Boredom is normal. It's not something to be escaped and filled with cheap dopamine. If you gave up, I put this too, I thought this was interesting. If you gave up even 1 hour a day of mindless scrolling, right, which is, people do more than that, right? But let's just say 1 hour of doom scrolling every day, that comes up to over 15 days over the course of a year, because that's 365 hours a year, which is 15 days. That's enough to build a side hustle, learn a new skill, or completely change the direction of your life. You could totally change your life for 15 whole days, and that's only 1 hour of doom scrolling a day. All right, another part here, rebuilding long-form concentration. So the number one thing that I have here is reading. And reading is something that, particularly with young people, has completely disappeared. You don't see people reading anymore, like for pleasure or knowledge or anything. Like, you don't read. Nobody reads, right? It's a very minority view, right? I put reading is weightlifting for your attention span. If you want to start building up your attention span, reading is perfect, because you can start with something as small as, just a couple sentences. Well, start with a couple paragraphs, right? And then work up to a couple pages. And before you know it, you will be reading chapters, right? You want to get to that point where you can read chapters at a time without checking your phone, without getting distracted, and it will come. But reading really, I think, is the perfect antidote to the TikTok brain that we're all experiencing, because it really focuses on long form concentration. You know, reading, I put here that it encourages sustained focus, imagination, and deep thinking. These are all things that are being fried away by the short form content and our shortening attention spans. You know, so, I mean, just make it a daily habit wherever you can. Maybe it's before you go to bed. Just read one chapter. Like one chapter, guys, right? Instead of scrolling, just do it. Do it tonight. When you go to bed, read one chapter, even if it's a couple pages. Start wherever you can. Maybe it's a couple paragraphs. Like, start where you can, right? Turn off your phone when you go to bed, you know, because the thing is, most people, like, they're scrolling before they go to sleep, and they're just exposing blue light into their eyes. Right? That's why you have shit sleep, because you're blaring blue light into your eyes, right? Whatever. Oh, sorry guys, I'm kind of out of it. Pretty tired. Whatever. We'll get through this. So lastly, closing messages, guys. Your attention span can be fixed. I would highly recommend that you guys try some of these small habits that I went over in this video. Particularly reading. I think reading is like the best one, and I'm excited myself to start reading. Like, I think about, I haven't read a lot, right? But one book that I did read, which really stuck with me, was Dostoevsky's The Idiot. And when I read that book, like, I still think about it today. And you couldn't put that book into a movie and have the same effect, or put it into a short form content. Like, for someone to sit and understand The Idiot, they have to read it. And it almost makes me sad that in a world of shortening attention spans, that people will not be able to enjoy something like The Idiot or a Dostoevsky novel or whatever other author, right? But I think reading is absolutely a superpower. I might even make a whole video on reading in the future. But let me know if you guys found these helpful. Let me know if you guys are suffering from a short-term attention span and want to fix it, because I can tell myself that my attention span is shortening and shortening as years are going on. So I really want to put a line in the sand here and really do something about it. So let me know if you guys like these kind of videos and you want more of these videos. I think my last video got 1 viewer, which was awesome. Thanks for watching to that one viewer who at least clicked on it. And I'm about to head into work, and I hope that you guys have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.